Hello, sir. Good morning, everyone. Today, we will start with our properties of S parameters here. That is continuation of module 2 and part 1 here. So, we are having around four properties to be discussed regarding the S parameters here. Okay, the first property that we have to discuss regarding the S parameter is zero diagonal elements for perfect match network here. The second property that we have to discuss regarding the S parameters is symmetric of S matrix for a reciprocal network here. That is S square bracket is equal to S transpose here. That is symmetry for the reciprocal network we have to prove here. The third one property which we have to discuss is unitary property for lossless junction here. Right there we have to prove that S conjugate transpose into S matrix is equal to identity matrix here. The fourth property that we have to discuss is the phase shift property here. These are the four properties which we have to discuss here regarding the properties of S parameter here. The first a property which we have discussed or which I have mentioned regarding the S parameter is zero diagonal elements for a perfectly matched network here. Okay. So if at all we say that zero diagonal elements for perfectly matched network means all the diagonal elements of S matrix here, irrespective of whatever the 2 into 2 matrix is there or 4 into 4 matrix is there or 3 into 3 matrix is there. So all the diagonal elements should be 0 here for perfectly matched condition here. For an ideal n-port network here, with match termination means yes I is equal to 0. Since what does this indicate here is that uh, we don't have any kind of a reflection from any port here. If at all we say that all the diagonal elements of any S matrix here, okay, is equal to 0 means there is no reflection from any of the port here. For example, you can see here 2 into 2 matrix of S parameter has been written here, S11, S12, S2122 is there. So if there is no reflection means what is the understanding here is S11 is equal to S22 is equal to 0 here. Okay. Okay, this is how we can understand regarding the property number 1 here. And let us understand the second property, that is unitary property for lossless junction here. Okay, so in this case here, what you have to prove here, yes, conjugate here. That is nothing but whatever the yes matrix we are having here, we have to take the conjugate first and then the transpose of that multiplied with the S matrix, we will get the identity matrix here. Okay, this one we have to prove here. We already know that we have a two-port network here. Okay, A1 is nothing but here incident voltage, B1 is the reflected voltage, A2 is the incident voltage, B2 is the reflected voltage at the respective ports at port 1 and port 2. So how we have to understand further here is that you can see here we already know that whatever the power leaving from one particular port is equal to the power entering into that particular junction here, or you can say the particular port or lossless network here. So if that is the case here, so what I could consider is, as we have indicated in the two-port network diagram, B1 and B2 are nothing but here they are leaving from the particular junction here. A1 and A2 are the incident powers that are entering into the particular junction here, right? So if at all we consider it is a lossless network here, then B1 modulus square plus B2 modulus square is equal to E1 modulus square plus E2 modulus square here, right? So if at all we consider this one here, so then B1 B2 is equal to S11 S12 S21 S22 into the into A1 and A2 here, right? So this could also be written in a very simpler manner: B is equal to S into A here. If at all we compare these two equations here, if at all we compare these two equations, we'll be having B is equal to B1 B2 here. Okay, if at all we take the conjugate of the B1 and B2 here, if at all and multiply B1 conjugate with the B, uh, so you will have the equation as b1 square plus b2 square here, right? Modulus square here. So if at all we substitute this particular equation, that is b conjugate transpose into whatever the b is there, okay, is equal to b1 modulus square plus b2 modulus square here. So substituting this equation number 2 in equation number 1, what we are having here is, we are having, that is conjugate transpose into b is equal to, similarly can be done for the a 1 modulus square plus a2 modulus square here. Similarly it could be done here, so that's why I have written directly here, that is a conjugate transpose into a here, right? So that we already know that b is equal to s into a here, right? So what we are going to do here is, take the transpose this particular equation here, then the order gets changed here, okay? So b is equal to s into a is there. If at all I take the transpose this particular equation here, what is going to happen? B transpose is equal to, instead of s here, we'll have a transpose into s transpose here. Then let us take the conjugate of this particular equation, then we will be having equation number 4 here. So now substituting this equation number 4 in equation number 3 here, what are we going to get here, right? So let us substitute whatever the terms we are having for b conjugate transpose into this particular equation 3, and whatever this b is equal to s into a 0, that also should be substituted in equation number 3 here. So finally what we are going to get here, we are going to get this equation here, right? So a transpose sorry a the conjugate transpose into s star transpose s into a is equal to a star transpose into a here. Now there are certain common terms here, so I could take this RHS term to the LHS side here. So what you're having, there are certain common terms here, that is a conjugate transpose into a will have the common term here between these two terms here. So finally what we got here, yes, conjugate transpose into s minus the identity matrix here, right? So that's equal to 0 here. Okay, that it could also be taken to the RHS side here. So this is how we are trying to prove our second property, that is concerned with the S parameters here, that is unitary property here for a lossless junction here. Okay, so there are certain points here which has been written here. What is exactly the unitary property? That is been written, summation of I is equal to 1 to n Sij conjugate here, that is equal to, if at all we multiply the conjugates of itself here, so we'll be having the Sij modulus square will be here, that is equal to 1. Okay, in a similar fashion orthogonal is there. Okay, Sij multiplied with the Sik conjugate here, but j should not be equal to k here. Okay, this is how the second property of the S parameter can be understood here. Okay, let us move on to the third property, which is very important. There are certain assumptions which we have made here to make sure that it has been proved here. uh, that is symmetry of S matrix here for a reciprocal network here. Okay. Remember here, what is exactly the in reciprocal device here is that it will be having the same transmission characteristics in either direction of a pair of a port, and moreover it is characterized by the whatever the symmetric scattering matrix we are having here, that is Sij is equal to Sgi here. I may not be equal to j here. Okay, Sij is equal to Sji. I is not equal to j. That is how we will try to understand regarding the symmetry of the S matrix or scattering matrix here. Okay, so now what result we wanted is S transpose is equal to, yes, we have to do that one here. So for any of the reciprocal network here, what we have to do, we have to consider certain assumptions here. Many assumptions we are going to consider here. So from the point of normalization here, what I will consider is impedance matrix equation I will consider here. Okay, V is equal to Z into I here. Okay, usually this incident or current, what we can consider here is incident current minus of reflected current we can consider as a total current here. Okay, so that has been multiplied with whatever the impedance matrix we are having here, nothing but the resistance here. So A is nothing but here we will be having the normalized incident voltages or currents only here, normalized reflected currents will be there here. So what we are going to do here is we are going to consider the whatever the voltages is there is equal to 0 for our assumption here. Hence this becomes a 0 here, and we are going to subtract and add this unitary matrix to this incident and the reflected components here. So if that is the case here, what we're going to do here is z minus of u into a and z plus u into a here, right? So if at all we have this condition here, okay, then let me take this minus component of this particular equation to the LHS here. So we'll have z plus u into bracket b into bracket b is equal to z minus u into bracket a here. So b is equal to whatever the, this is actually exact, this is plus here, z plus u here, z plus u inverse. Okay, z plus u, this is a correction here. Okay, remember. Okay, now this is z plus here, this is plus actually. Okay, plus here, right? So what is u is nothing but your unit matrix here, just for our assumption, or you can say for the proving this particular property we have to make all these arrangements here. That is uh, we have to consider v is equal to 0, and total current I is equal to what you can say that a minus b, that is nothing but your incident minus of reflected components here. Then we have to uh, subtract and add with the unitary matrix here. This is for our proving the particular property here. So this particular equation number 2 is there. So this is in the standard format here. That is b is equal to s into a here. So what can be written as a s here? Comparing equation 2 and 3, we will be writing as s is equal to this z plus u inverse is there here. Remember the z minus u is there. So if this is the condition here, can I have this particular q is equal to z plus u and r is equal to z minus u. If at all we can take this as a condition, then what we're going to do here is just a minute. Okay, okay, just let me details this particular. Okay. Now we have to, for reciprocal network here, what you have to do here is z matrix is symmetric here now. Hence, what we can write here is r into q is equal to q into r. We can say by multiplying q inverse here on the both sides here to each of the every element here. What we're going to get here, q inverse into r is equal to r into q inverse here. So transpose of S matrix is, now if at all we take the transpose of S matrix here, that is what we have got by comparing equation number 2 and 3 here, this one. So what you have to write here is okay. Now see, you can see here for reciprocal network the Z matrix is symmetric here. Hence R into Q is equal to Q into R here. Multiplying Q inverse will have or you can say Q inverse should be multiplied with each of the element here. So we'll have Q inverse of into R is equal to R into Q inverse here. So if at all we take the transpose of S here, so what we're going to get here, this particular transpose of this S here. So we'll have z minus of u transpose Z plus U transpose minus 1 here. There is a change in the order here. Usually this plus Z plus U used to have in the first place here, now it is in the second place just because of the transpose we are taking here. So since the Z matrix is symmetric here, so that what you can write is Z minus U transpose is equal to Z minus U. Okay, and Z plus U can be written as a Z plus U here. Therefore, S transpose is equal to Z minus U into Z plus U inverse here. So R into Q inverse here. That is nothing but here we are having S here. Thus, we can prove that S transpose is yes for a symmetric junction here. Okay, this is how we can prove the third property here. Just remember here what you have to do here is we have to take the reciprocal network here, and we have to take the characteristic of a scattering parameter, that is symmetric property here, that is Sij is equal to Sji, that is nothing but here I should not be equal to j here. Now thereafter we have to consider this normalization with the incident current or voltages here, reflected voltages or currents here, then identity matrix you have to consider. Okay, then certain steps we have to do so that it should be comparable to the standard equation B is equal to S into A here. Once we compare that one, we'll get the S matrix here. Okay, then if you take the transpose of that S matrix here, you will have this equation number here. Then after the S matrix is symmetrical here, or Z matrix is symmetrical, then we can write the final answer as S transpose is equal to S for a symmetric junction here. Okay, now let us understand another property, that phase shift property is there. Okay, so there what is this phase shift property? I think we have learned in this phase shifter here. It is nothing but here just shifting the phase of the particular signal when it is passed to equipment here, right? Phase shifter equipment will be there here. So using the dielectric slab length and whatever the wave velocity is there of the signal, based on the two things here, we can change the phase of the particular signal that has been transmitted here. So now what this property, we have one small diagram here, that is device S is there, and we are writing L1 and L2 here, reference plane 1 and 2 is there. Okay, now if the reference planes are there, they are shifted from plane number 2 and plane number 1 to 1 dash and 2 dash respectively. Okay, okay, that is nothing but here you will be having the electric phase shift here. Okay, that is nothing but here phi 1 is equal to beta 1 into L1, phi 2 is equal to beta 2 into L2. So you know the beta 1 is a propagation constant here. Okay, and beta 2 is the same. L1 and L2 are nothing but the electrical lengths here. If that is the case here, okay, what about the new variables here, new wave variables here? A1 is nothing but you know the incident wave. A1 is equal to e raised to j psi 1. Okay, sorry, phi 1. Okay, then b is equal to e raised to minus j phi 1. A2 e raised to j phi 2. B2 e raised to minus j phi 2. That minus is indicating that your the reflection component here. Okay, the new S matrix or S dash matrix is given by, this is how we will get this property is valid for any number of ports here. Okay, we are just considering the example of only the 2 ports here. Okay, it is nothing but a phase shifting property applicable to the shift of reference planes. If there is a shifting is there from reference 1 plane to reference 1 dash and reference 2 to reference 2 dash here, so this is how we are going to get the phase shift property here. Okay, right. These are all the complex values. Remember, whatever the phase shift property we are doing for the S parameters of a particular network is there with respect to the position of the port here. So you will be having all the complex values here of the S parameters here. Okay, now let us move on to the very important topic here, that is S parameter of a 2-port network with mismatched load here. Okay, let us understand this one by one. So again, the figure, I think you have learned drawn this particular figure in the first initial chapter of this particular microwave network theory here. Again, the two-port network is there here. There is port number 1, port number 2. At the port number 1, we'll be having the generator impedance will be there. Okay, ZZ, which is nothing but the source voltage here. A1 and A2 are nothing but incident and reflected components here. Z0 is the characteristic impedance here. At the same time, this T is equal to S12 is nothing but a transmission coefficient here. Capital T, S21 is nothing but here. This is also transmission coefficient here. Port 1 to port 2, that is port 2 to port 1. Reflection coefficient is there. Okay, and reflection coefficient 2 is there here. And also ZL is there. ZL is nothing but here your load impedance is there. A2 and W2 are nothing but here. Incident and the reflected components at the port number 2 here. Okay, this is how the diagram explanation is there here. Okay, now this two-port network is there. No? How exactly two-port network is formed is just because of if there is a discontinuity is there here. Okay, when there is a discontinuity between the input and output ports here for transmission line, a two-port network junction is formed here. Okay. Okay. Now, usually during the propagation of microwave through this particular junction or two-port network here, there is something called as a evanescent modes will be there here, which is nothing but here these nothing but a reactive energy will be containing here. That is wherever there is a discontinuity is there between the transmission lines here, there is some reactive energy is there here. Okay, as in when we move away from this particular junction here, these reactive energy will be decayed here and become negligible at a certain distance here. Okay, so whatever the terminal reference planes we have placed here, okay, whatever the terminal 1 and 2 we have placed in the particular diagram, no, that is placed just beyond this distance here. Okay, so the equivalent voltage and currents at these positions are always proportional to the whatever the transverse and the electromagnetic fields respectively is there here. So now these circuits are analyzed using the S metric formulation here. So let us go with the formation of this particular equation here. Consider a two-port network here. Again, it's the same figure we have to consider here, where the term which is terminated by again the normalized load and the generator impedances. Load impedance is nothing but here Z normalized. If at all you consider the normalization, then ZL divided by Z0 here and ZZ divided by Z0 here. So what is exactly the input reflect coefficient at this point here in the port 1? Port 1 you know, right? B1 divided by A1 will be the reflection coefficient here, right? At the port 1. So remember here one more point here. Here we have tried to this reflection coefficient symbol should be written with 1 suffix here. Okay, so reflection coefficient is equal to S11 plus of S12. This is nothing but transmission coefficient into another transmission coefficient multiplied with the reflection coefficient of the port 2 divided by 1 minus of whatever the reflection coefficient to port 2, I mean S22 parameter plus into reflection coefficient 2 here. Okay. Now this is what is there. If at all there is a matched load is there, if I consider here, right? So if there is a mismatch is there here, okay, if there is a mismatch is there, then what exactly the input reflection coefficient equation is there? So this equation is not equal to S11 here. Okay, input reflection coefficient is not equal to S11. Okay, for reciprocal network you already know that S21 is equal to S21 here. That is Sij is equal to Sji here, where J is not equal to I here. In that sense here we can substitute here S12 into S21 is equal to S12 square here, right? So again, if at all I treat whatever the junction is there or two-port network is there, it is lossless here. We don't have any kind of a reactive energy, or we don't have any kind of a loss here. Then what is exactly the equations are going to be there here? Then if at all I say lossless reciprocal network is there here, and it is terminated by mismatched load here, then S11 is equal to S22, okay, and S12 is equal to root of 1 minus S11 whole square here. This could be, we are getting these two equations from the above three equations here, right? If at all we simplify the above three here, we'll get these equations here. And at this point, the input reflection coefficient is given as the reflection coefficient 1 is equal to S11 plus S12 root of 2. It is not root 2 here. Reflection coefficient 2 divided by 1 minus S22 to reflection coefficient 2 here, right? So this is how we are going to get the reflection coefficient or input reflection coefficient for the S parameters when we are having a mismatched load here. This is an important derivation here, which we have to consider for importance here. Many, I think, this particular derivation has been asked in the problem section here as a problem here. Remember, this particular topic which I have discussed here, it is concerned with the problem section here. Okay, this will be asked you to find out. They will ask you to find out the input reflection coefficient of the two-port network here. Okay, so at that time we have to draw this particular diagram and mention certain points here regarding the two-port network or a junction here. Then derive this equation reflection coefficient 1 here. Okay, so next we'll move on to the topic here, that is comparison of S parameters here. That is, what is the comparison between S parameter, Z parameter, and Y parameters here? Okay, so what we can say here is that whatever the number of elements are there, either in S you consider, or Z you consider, or Y you consider here, that is scattering parameters you consider, or impedance parameter you consider, or admittance here, all the elements are same here. Okay. If at all we consider the reciprocal devices here, so Z and S satisfy the reciprocity properties here. That is, Zi is equal to Zi, or Sij is equal to Sji here. Okay. If at all I consider Z as a symmetrical here, then S also should be symmetrical here. Okay. Now there are certain advantages of S here, S parameters, that is scattering parameters over the Z and Y here. What are those? Just we'll enlist here. 3 to 2 are there here. So what are those? Is usually whenever we go ahead with the microwave understanding or microwave techniques here, the source will be having the constant power here, regardless of whether what the circuit changes we are going to have here. Okay, so whatever the other possible parameters are there here, or measurements are there here, that is VSWR, power and phase, will also be having this constant value here. So this particular, whatever the constant terms we are having, it is not possible with the whatever the impedance matrix is there, or the admittance matrix is there here. This is not possible. Okay, so it is possible with only the S parameters here, that is scattering parameters. Okay, and second point which I wanted to convey here is that because of this unitary property here, there is a proper checking of the power balance here in this lossless network here, because of this unitary property here. The third point which I wanted to mention here is this whatever the S parameters are there, no? These are perfectly defined for the set of reference pins only here. If there is a change in the reference pins here, as we know, we have learned in the property number 4 here, there is a change in the phase here. Okay, only change in the phase here, not change with the magnitude here. But the same case is not applicable to the Z parameters and the admittance parameters here. Okay, these are the 3 advantages we are having here over the Z and the Y parameters concerned with the S parameters here. Now let us move on to this last topic here, where we try to understand the relationship between all the parameters here. That is, and previously we have learned usually we'll try to have the relationship between S parameters and the ABCD parameters here. Important question could be asked in the examination and the derivation kind of a thing. Again, what you have to do there is you have to draw this diagram here, where we will be having all this incident and reflected voltages, and incident and reflected powers are there here. Okay, transmitted powers are there here. Okay, and whatever the characteristic impedance is there, generator impedance is there, load impedance. This diagram you have to draw again. Okay, so the same diagram is applicable to many of the derivations here. So in this case, what is the steady state voltage here? Steady state, we already know that the total voltage is equal to whatever the voltage that has been incident and whatever is the voltage that has been reflected here at both the ports here. Okay, in the same manner, can also consider the current here. I is equal to, again, whatever the incident current to minus of the whatever the reflected voltage is there here. Okay, sorry, reflected current you can consider here, right? So normalized whatever the incident and reflected voltages are represented as A is equal to V plus divided by root Z naught, P is equal to V minus divided by root Z here. So this reflected incident components we can consider in terms of V plus only here. So if at all we substitute this A and B in the voltage, total voltage and the total current here, we will be having the equation number 1 here, which will be in terms of A and B component here, and the characteristic impedance here. Now, if at all for T4 network, if at all I write the ABCD parameter equation here, so we have V1 is equal to AV2, VI2, I1 is equal to CV2 plus DI2 here, right? So now, if at all I substitute equation number 1 in the two-port ABCD parameters networks here, okay, so what will be having? I will be having this root of z01 into bracket of a plus a1 plus b1 is equal to capital A root of z02 z02 z0 is z02 into bracket of a2 plus b2 plus capital B divided by root of z02 bracket A2 minus B2 here. This similarly, we can write another equation here. Now, what we'll consider is we are having this characteristic impedance. No? Input and output characteristic impedance will be there here. So, this Z02 and Z01 is nothing but here the characteristic impedances of the input and the output ports here. Two port network we are having. No? So that's why. Now, let us take this characteristic impedance Z02, okay, and the input terminal is there or input port is there, that I will divide it by this whole equation here. Okay, so if at all I divide here, we will be having a1 plus b1 is equal to these terms here, or a1 minus b1 is equal to this whole equation number 2 will be having. Now what I will do is, for my normalization here, what I will do is this a into this z02 divided by z1 root of is that, no, that I will take it as an a dash here. Similarly for b, c, d I will write here. Okay, I have written using following normalization here, a bar, b bar, c bar and d bar I have written here. So if substitute these all these terms in the above equation number 2 here, we'll be getting the equation number 3 here, right? So equation number 3, what it is stating now, a1 plus b1 is equal to a bar, capital A bar, okay, into bracket of a2 plus b2 plus b bar into a2 minus of b2. Okay, a1 minus b1, c bar is equal to a2 plus b2 plus d bar and a2 minus of b2. This is equation number 3 here, which we got here after the normalization here. Okay, now if at all compare the standard S map parameter equation here, that is b1 is equal to S11a plus S12a2, or this b is equal to S into a is there, that equation if I compare, then what my equations concerned with the S11 are there here. S11 is equal to, you'll have this value here, a bar plus b bar minus c bar minus d bar divided by whole ABCD bars here, right? The same way S22, S12 and S21 will get here. Okay. So this is how we are going to get the ABCD parameters, or this is how we are going to get the relations between the AS parameters and the ABCD parameters. Now, if at all I consider the network is reciprocal here, that means S12 is equal to S21, then A bar into D bar minus of B bar C bar is equal to 1 here. If at all I substitute this particular equation, then S12 and S21 is equal to 2 divided by A bar plus B bar plus C bar plus D bar here. If at all I consider the network is completely symmetric here, I could say that S11 is equal to S22, so that again A bar is equal to D bar here, right? So A bar is equal to D bar means I could write S11 and S22 is equal to some B bar minus C bar divided by 2A bar plus B bar plus C bar here. If the network is placed in a common transmission line here of a characteristic impedance where Z0 equal to Z1 and Z2 here, that is Z02 and Z01 here, then how could we write the S parameters here? S11 is equal to, we already know that S11 is equal to S22, S21 is equal to S12 here. This is how we can write the S parameters considering the characteristic impedance and the ABCD parameters here. This is how we got the relationship between the S parameters and the ABCD parameters here. Now, this is the end of the topic here. Okay, so I have already made the one video regarding the part one here. This is the second video concerned with the part one only here. So what we have learned today here, just I will summarize here. The first thing what we have learned is properties here, properties of the S parameters here, right? So first property is nothing but here your diagonal here, right? Diagonal elements should be equal to 0. Okay, that is the first property here for perfectly matched network here. And the second property which you learned is the symmetric of S parameter here. That is S matrix here for reciprocal network. S is equal to S transpose here. And the third property which you learned is unitary property here. Okay, for lossless junction, that is S conjugate transpose into S is equal to I here. We have to prove that one. Fourth one that we have learned is phase property here, phase shift property. These are the four properties we have learned today, and further that one we have learned regarding the mismatched load here, right? Mismatched S parameters of a two-port network with the mismatched load here. Here, just draw the diagram and mention certain points regarding this one here, and then try to find out the input reflection coefficient here. Then mention those conditions here. If at all there is a junction is lossless and it is a reciprocal and it is the mismatch load, what are the conditions we are having here? Subject to the conditions, we'll get the final answer here. Then we try to compare all the S parameters and Z parameters and Y parameters here. There are certain common things we are having here between these three things, and also we found out there are certain advantages concerned of the S parameters over the Z and Y parameters here. That's why we prefer S parameters for defining the current and voltages in the microwave network where micro frequencies are utilized here. Now, after the last topic which I learned is regarding the relationship between the ABCD parameters and the S parameters here. Again, you draw the same diagram which we had drawn in the initial classes here. So then try to understand what is the total voltage, total current, express the terms of incident and the reflected voltages in terms of the A and B components here, substitute in the total voltage and total current here, then draw out the ABCD parameter equation for a two-port network, substitute those current and voltages in the ABCD parameter equation here, then go on simplifying and consider that characteristic impedance is equal to Z naught. Then try to get this, compare with the standard S parameter equation. You will have the S parameter equation in terms of the ABCD here. Okay, if at all we consider reciprocal network and symmetric here, again it will be reduced. We'll be having S11 and S21 here. Okay, this is how we will end up the second video here. If at all you have any questions here, please message me. Okay, thank you.